So we are on week 7 this week, and we have two prayers with us today. June 27, 1913, and I guess the other one is August 2, 1913. So let us first share our reflections on the first prayer, June 27, 1913. Whoever feels ready, I'll just maybe read out the prayer once and then we can share our reflections. June 27, 1913. Thy voice is so modest, so impartial, so sublime in its patience and mercy, that it does not make itself heard with any authority, any force of will, but comes like a cool breeze, sweet and pure, like a crystalline murmur that brings a note of harmony to a discordant concert. Yet, for him who knows how to listen to the note, to breathe that breeze, it holds such treasures of beauty, such a fragrance of pure serenity and noble grandeur, that all foolish illusions vanish or are transformed into a joyful acceptance of the marvelous truth that has been glimpsed. So, anyone who wants to go first, please, whoever feels ready.
Monica ji, I can go ahead.
Please go ahead, Jishanji.
Okay. So, first of all, this is a very beautiful poetry which Mother has written. And when I read this, what I thought is somewhere she spoke about the voice of the psyche, and she said when that speaks, it speaks very silently. This is very faint, and as we listen to that voice, it grows. That is the feeling that I got, was that the voice is modest, not accusing. Secondly, it is impartial, something that does not take any sides, which means at times when we make a prayer, when we try to listen to, want to get an answer, we want to get an answer which is aligned with our own desire. But that is the almost the first sentence she said, that when the voice speaks, it speaks impartially. It does not take your side or someone else's side. It speaks neutrally in the side of truth. Sublime in its patience and mercy. So something that is infinitely patient and kind. And that is what, I mean, somewhere Mother or Sri Aurobindo has wrote, and Sri Aurobindo has written that those it in the qualityness and cheerfulness. And in our daily life, in our normal life, patient. Why do we get irritated, angry? Because we get impatient. So this voice, it has the patience, it has the mercy, it does not judge. However much thing it speaks with kindness. It speaks of inclusion. It does not exclude. It does not make itself heard with any authority. Finally, it does not speak with like a booming or like not like that Akashvani kind of authority. It speaks very modestly, like a murmur, whispering, but one has to listen to it. Any force of will, but comes like a cool breeze, sweet and pure, something that is very peaceful, metaphor, like sweet and pure, like a crystalline murmur brings the note of harmony, a discordant concept. our external life or our daily life, which is driven by the impulses, desires, the motivations from the mind, they always create impatience, disorder. And this voice, if one can is able to listen, one is guided by that, they will always find that there is order there in these lives of disorder. Yet for him who knows how to listen to that note, to breathe that breeze, it holds such treasure of beauty, such a fragrance of pure serenity and noble grandeur. And yet, this voice, which is so silent, let's say, which does not speak with authority, which is very, very modest, that contains the secret treasure. Because if somebody is able to provide you the right guidance, that is the most valuable information, most valuable advice, possession in your life. And this voice, somebody who can listen to this voice, that voice has the greatest treasure hidden in it. It has the fragrance of pure serenity and noble grandeur, that all foolish illusions vanish, because when the light comes, the darkness recedes. And this voice or this guidance, if somebody receives, they exactly know what they have to do. So basically, they will know truth from illusions. So all the illusions will or are transformed into a joyful acceptance of the marvelous truth that has been glimpsed. Or either that they vanish or the life becomes transformed, and whatever our deficiencies or imperfections, they get transformed to a higher, or they get transformed for a higher cause, and a joyful acceptance of marvelous truth that has been glimpsed. This, to my understanding, is when we go into contemplation, meditation, or in dreams, we at times get glimpses of a higher truth, glimpses of deeper layers of our mind, which we forget in daily course. And when such a voice comes, it provides us the reminders, provides us the memories of such glimpses, such experiences which we had in such elated state.
Yeah, beautiful. Anything more, Jishmaji?
No, that's it from my side
Okay,
here.
beautiful. Thank you so much. Thank you. Yeah, beautiful. So, anyone who wants to share next? Jyotsna ji, Chitra ji, Shweta, Rakhi, whoever feels ready, just go ahead, please. Yes, Shweta.
Actually, the whole paragraph is so self-explanatory and so beautiful, and Jishnuji explained it so well. So, I think for me, uh, I don't know. As I read it, it was like so clear, and everything resonated so much. So, if I repeat, it will be like almost same. So,
Anything that you want to relate with any personal experience, Shweta? Any, a few lines or anything?
mm, yeah, I mean the second part, actually the whole thing, every word is so beautiful. I relate to everything, like, uh, yeah, but like this so modest and so impartial. That is something I have always felt, that this voice is so impartial. It doesn't favor or it's not biased, and that personally I have felt. Uh, I relate to. And then, yet for him who knows how to listen to the note, to the breath that breathes, uh, it holds such treasures of beauty, such a fragrance of pure serenity and noble grandeur, that all foolish illusions vanish. Yeah, this is also so true. I'm sure we all have felt like, uh, there are moments when we know such foolish illusions we have, and this, even a little momentary glimpse of this voice helps you understand that, and, or are transformed into a joyful acceptance of the marvelous truth that has been glimpsed. Yeah, I could relate to that. Very beautiful.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Thank you for sharing. Yeah, so anyone who wants to share next?
I'll go, Monica.
Please, yeah, Chitraji.
Yeah. Actually, very beautiful lines. What I can say is a cool breeze, sweet, pure, crystalline murmur. Yes, this explanation itself takes you to. Yeah, I feel it is heavenly, divinely. Yeah, what I can say, and also as you asked, my personal experience, I can say maybe I. Yeah. After many years, I can't say I was in the path previously, but mother came to me and I used to do so many prayers and all, as I always shared in these sessions. But this happened recently. I mean, 1.5 years back actually, when I was pressed with all the family problems and I could not come out of it. I just totally surrendered that time. There is no thought, no plans, nothing in the mind. I cried and I surrendered to mother. That time, maybe previously also that voice would have told me something, guided me, but I didn't notice that because of all surface level confusions, as mother shared, no, this discordant concert. Yeah, that was my life, discordant concert, really. So I couldn't hear any voice that time, but really it happened 1.5 years back actually. Now you have to pursue the path, that's all. No answer for any problem, no solution came. So I stick on to that actually. And after that, little by little, my attitude towards life problems started changing. And also, all these sessions, only after that, after I heard the voice and tried to follow that voice only, I got lot of guidance from all these sessions. Now it is going. I maybe put only a baby step. It's a long way to go. But this baby step itself is a great joy, inner joy. So now maybe this prayer I would have read long back, but I couldn't connect to my life those days actually. Now only I could connect all these prayers, meditations, and Savitri, everything, Savitri lines, to connect to my life. Thanks to your sessions, really, because this is really happened in my life actually. This discordant concert is soothed by that voice. It is, I don't know what to say. Yeah, really, thank you for selecting this prayer, Monica. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for sharing your experience, Chitraji.
No words for
Yeah,
this.
yeah. It's amazing how
Yeah.
pain can lead us to grace, and again through our experiences, we see that, yes, it is hard for each one of us, but then once we persist through pain, then we enter this, grace. Absolutely. Yeah. Beautiful.
And also situations also begin to change. Not, I mean, the solutions as we expected come, but really something is happening which is beautiful. That's all I can say. Yeah.
Beautiful. Yeah, the impartiality, not so
Yeah.
they are not happening as we would like to be, but the inner space has
Yeah.
changed. Beautiful.
Yeah, correct. Thank
Yeah,
you.
beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing. One of the quotes by Mother and Sri Aurobindo I was just reading, and it says, bear and bear, just endure and endure. So it's not that the pain and suffering would end on the path, but yes, the more we have the endurance to bear all the pain, I think the more the capacity that it will just open the door one day. And as you are sharing, you feel this grace, presence of grace in your life. So again, beautiful. Yeah, Josna ji, please go ahead.
For me, yes, what everybody said rings true, but for me, it is I wait for the day when I will be able to be in constant connect with this voice. It comes in spurts, it comes at times, it disappears, and then you yearn for it to come back again and to guide you or to niggle you again. But it's such a soft, sweet voice that it disappears and you miss it. So for me, my endeavor, rather my aspiration would be to remain connected always with it. That is when I would feel that yes, it is it's something marvelous and magical in life. I yearn to have a connection all the time.
That's beautiful. I think some aspiration that all of us, can aspire to have this constant communion and union with this presence. Let
It's
it,
like a heart yearning for
yeah.
a lover.
Mm,
I just want that it connects and it keeps speaking to me.
mm,
And when the need for any kind of superficial interaction or connection or anything will be totally lost. It's like shedding your clothes off. That's my aspiration, what I felt from this prayer. Because every time I feel, why did you go away? Why did you go away? You just came for a few seconds. Why did you go? So I that's my take.
beautiful. Yeah, thank you so much, Jyotsna ji. Yes. Yes, so who would like to share next? Okay, so in case there are no further reflections, I'll just go through the prayer again, and in between, if you have anything to share, please unmute and share. Yeah. So this very beautifully, I think Chitra ji, Jishnu ji, Jyotsna and Shweta have already reflected upon it. And it touches, this one thing with these prayers is that they touch your heart so softly, they just touch you very, very deep. And absolutely, many a times there are no reflections or more, you don't want to really talk about it, you just want to be with the prayer. But since the interaction is a talking interaction, so I will talk a bit, and I hope that we will spend more time in our own silences with the prayers whenever we feel like. So, thy voice is so modest, so impartial. I think Vishnuji already shared that, Mother shares that this is the quality of the voice of the psychic. It's very shy, faint voice. It cannot be really called a voice actually, because it does not speak in words. Just like the mind goes chatter, 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 chatter. The thoughts come and chatter, chatter. It's not like that. And I'm feeling now more and more through my experiences also that all that is needed to do is to really, really quieten down in our being. Otherwise we'll not be able to listen to this voice, although this is present 24/7. Mother says that I don't go, you go away. And somehow our past tendencies, thought patterns, emotional patterns are such that we get swayed and lost in the patterns of thought. We think that thinking about this situation is very, very important for me. Emotionally involved with this or that thing is very, very important for me. And there we get lost, that we are not able to listen to this voice which is 24/7 there. So all that we need more and more is to quieten down the aggressiveness of the vital. This life force that is brimming in us, which takes us, which is responsible, that's why it is called vital force, because it is vital, it is essential for all the actions in life. But at the same time, it's also a very restless kind of energy that we have jumping, within us, which makes us move all the time. Although we want to be still, but it makes us move. So more and more, this necessity of quietening down, like really stilling down this brimming full life energy in us. And mother has not only shown the path, she has given all these little baby steps on the path. She talks about calling peace in the body. And there have been phases in my life where I have been troubled with really thoughts and emotions which were as if you are maybe possessed by them. It's so hard to let them go. And in those times when I was really needing a kind of sense of respite, there I have at times I have remembered mothers calling that, call stillness in your being, call peace in your being, and make your being absolutely still and immobile. I think Luba was once sharing this stone like calm in one of the Savitri sessions. So that stone like stillness, if we can tap into or call into our being, the whole body, mind, emotions being absolutely immobile, I think there something shifts, and we are able to then quieten down the discordant concert that mother speaks of, and a note of harmony comes. It's a side effect of calling peace. It just comes, it shows itself up. And when I was hearing, reading this one, brings a note of harmony to a discordant concert. Now, how does a concert, those of us who have listened to music or have been in touch with music, if you play any instrument, there is a very unique significance of the spaces between the notes. The same notes, if you play without the significant gap or whatever gap is there, they will sound very different. They may actually sound like a cacophony, if you miss the gaps between the notes. So these gaps, which don't say much, they are very silent gaps, but they are the ones which are giving harmony to a concert. If you miss all the gaps, the whole concert is gone. There would be no harmony in the music. So we miss the spaces in our life, the space in our being, the space between thoughts and emotions. If that space can be heard and tapped into and identified with, that I become that space. I identify myself not with the thought, but with the spaces between the thought. Then we tap into something which is absolutely beyond our superficial surface chaos, as you were sharing. So this impartial voice, it would not do according to my mental rigidities and opinion, how I want the situation to be. It will just guide very silently, very humbly, modestly. Yeah. And many a times we feel that if what I want gets done, only then I can be happy. But it's not the case. It's not the case. So we have to just quieten down the voice of the ego and all the clamor of the mind and emotions, which are making us sway from this and that side, and also, making us really aggressive and restless. Quieten down that voice, so sublime in its patience, very patient voice. It does not want to be heard, ki, listen to me first, listen to me first. But the voice of the ego wants to be heard first. That's the quality. And there we can differentiate that whatever in me jumps very, very high and it says, I want to be heard, I want to be heard, listen to me. Definitely that's not the voice of the psychic. So then we can take a step back and quieten down a bit and see what is to be done. And many times we don't need to do something, we are just excessively doing something or talking about things which is not even required. So sublime in its patience and mercy. Mercy, in Hindi we would call it karunamay. It's very full of compassion, that it does not make itself heard with any authority, any force of will, but comes like a cool breeze, sweet and pure, like a crystalline murmur. Crystalline, full of this, how these crystals are very perfect in shape and full of shine and light and reflections from all the side. So beautiful symmetry in crystals, and plus it's very soft like a murmur, and that brings a note of harmony to a discordant concert. So when I am in the middle of my emotional and mental conflicts, something is going on in my life, a discordant concert is happening. What to do? I think Mother almost shares a trick here. If we really want, then we can tap into the stillness of the being. We can call peace in the being. We can become immobile absolutely, and then we hear the command from within, what is to be done. Hmm? Yet, for him who knows how to listen, so although it's a very soft whisper, very crystalline, sweet, pure, cool breeze, does not make much noise. But for him who knows how to listen to the note, so one needs a ear training almost here. People who are good in music, they have a very good ear training. They can tell which note is being played and which is out of uh, the harmony, which note is out of the harmony. So if we really know how to listen, then we can really breathe that breeze. If we know how to breathe that breeze, tap into that fine pure air, it holds such treasures of beauty. Now this treasures of beauty is our own true self. That's what appears to me, that this is our true being that is waiting for unfolding. Hmm? Such fragrance of pure serenity and noble grandeur, in presence of that, all foolish illusions vanish. So, although at times mental and emotional conflicts appear very, very real, they don't appear like Maya. They don't appear like illusion, because if I knew that it was an illusion, I would not be there, right? But when these things are happening, they make itself so, so real that I'm trapped. For me, it becomes my reality. But when I step back, then I can see that, oh my God, it was nothing but an illusion that was making itself so real and important. It is only after stepping back that I can look at it as illusion, not before that. Because when I am in the middle of the trap of mental and emotional conflicts, then it does not appear like a foolish illusion. Hmm? That is the grasp, that's why we call it like a veil comes in us, in front of us, that we are not able to see clearly. So foolish illusions vanish. So when I am able to tap into this serene, cool place, the still place in myself, then in presence of that overpowering influence of that stillness within, the silence within, the sweet harmony within, foolish illusions vanish. Then I know that I don't need to give these illusions so much of importance that I'm giving them right now. They don't matter that much. While in the middle of the chaos, they are mattering too much they are mattering. But when I am, even for a glimpse, I am able to tap into this space, I realize that they don't have that much of importance as I give them when I'm trapped in them. So either they vanish completely, they completely go away, or the other thing that can happen is, or they are transformed into a joyful acceptance of the marvelous truth that has been glimpsed. So they may not completely vanish, they may fade in degree, but at the same time, what overpowers is this acceptance of the marvelous truth that what matters in my life is this peace and stillness and serenity and beauty that I have touched in my being, and not the discordant concert. So I accept the faded version of foolish illusions also. As if, imagine that you have a room, and there is maybe a little spider moving around in the room. So two things can happen. Maybe I'm very bothered by the spider and I'm after it, that I want to kill it or want to shoo it away, or do things to it. So that makes me very, very discordant, that makes me very aggressive. And at the same time, the other thing that I can do is that I quieten down and I say, okay, you're welcome in my room as long as you want to stay. So this is how I can say to my thoughts and emotions that yes, you're not completely gone away. I see that you are still there, my fears, my anxieties, my worries, but you are not that important. What is important for me is to tap into this purity, this peace that I have glimpsed in my being. And then you accept uh, the truth that you have glimpsed, and in presence of that truth, the spider does not matter now. It can peacefully exist in the room with you also basking in peace. Yeah, so that's a visual that just came to me, that I can coexist with the spider. Yes, Jishnuji, please.
So here, Monica ji, one thought, and it dawned to me because when I was reading, it did not come. As Chitradi very beautifully gave the example, that we are getting partnered with the troubles of life, right? And the thing is, when we listen, when we are able to be guided by this voice, what we learn is that these troubles, or with what we are so much agitated, is leading us to something important, is wants to teach us a lesson, wants us to learn something. And when we do that, we accept it and it remains no longer a trouble or no longer a problem. We no longer view it as a problem.
Beautiful.
We view it as an exercise or view
Absolutely.
it as a lesson.
Mm. Beautiful. I think that's really very powerful what you shared. Absolutely. Yes. I think Alokda was sharing in one of the talks that uh, uh, we have to actually go to the depths of our darknesses if we really want to so-called progress on this path, because it is not possible that without touching the darker parts in us, or without transforming them, without traveling along with them, uh, that we keep on progressing only towards light, 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 light. So it's very important for us to go through first all the obscurities and darknesses, as you were sharing, learn our lessons so that we know how to rise above them. And without that, there cannot be any progress. So if we really want a communion with the divine, I think we have to just be very strong and courageous. What Sri Aurobindo talks of the Aryan spirit, and Kabirji talks of the warrior spirit, that I am okay to go through all the obscurities, challenges, and weaknesses in me, because they are leading me to something greater and higher, and they are making me rise above them, and I'm learning my lessons. So that really resonates very deeply. Yeah. Yeah. Anything more? Anyone on this prayer? Okay, so in that case, I'll just go ahead to the next one. Yeah, so August 2, 1913. Yeah, anyone who wants to read the prayer, and then we can share the reflections. Anyone who wants to just read the prayer once, and then one by one we'll share the reflections. Yes, Jyotsna ji.
This morning, as I was glancing over the month that is beginning and wondering how I could serve thee better, I heard the small voice within like a murmur in the silence. And this is what it said to me: see how very little all outer circumstances matter. Why strive and strain so to realize that thy own conception of truth? Be more supple, more trusting. The only duty is not to let oneself be troubled by anything. To torment oneself about doing the right thing causes as much harm as a bad will. Only in a calm as of deep waters can be found the possibility of true service. And this reply was so luminous and pure, it carried within itself such a striking reality that the state it described was communicated without any difficulty. It seemed to me I was floating in the calm of deep waters. I understood, I saw clearly what the best attitude would be. And now I have only to ask thee, O Sublime Master, my supreme teacher, to give me the strength and clear sightedness I need to remain constantly in this state. Do not torment thyself, child. Silence, peace, peace.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, so anyone who wants to share reflections?
Manikaji, I can share.
Yes, please. Yeah.
So, as Josna ji read, is beginning, I mean, starting the month with the question that how she can serve the divine better. And then she hears the voice once again about what we read in the previous prayer, that modest, unassuming, murmuring voice, which provides her the guidance. And here I feel that she addressed a very broad question. Often we are in conflict, or often we think that what would be the right thing to do. And if we see, if we observe carefully, a lot of our problems, agitations, confusions is coming that what is the right path? That is first. Second is to impose our will, or we are dissatisfied with our surrounding. And the question is why we are dissatisfied with the surrounding, with the events that is happening in an organization, in a world around us, because we feel what is happening is not right. We feel that what is happening is not according to our conception of truth or what we know as truth. Things should change, and we get agitated with it. We feel dissatisfied. Uh, in modern world, we know that it creates a different kind of troubles. We feel demotivated, and that mother is saying that here, that voice is saying, do not get do not get agitated, do not get troubled with the external things. Just try to be, and the secret of serving the divine is be as calm as possible, like the depths of the deepest ocean, where there is at the surface there are huge waves, but at the deep there is only calmness. Try to be that, like that stability, bring that calmness. And if you're able to have that state, then uh, you will be the perfect servant of the divine, and you don't need to get agitated about what to do, which path to take. That, in a nutshell, is my reflection on this prayer.
Yes, that's beautiful. Thank you so much, Jishnuji. Thank you. Yeah. Yes, I am actually concerned about a few lines I'll share, and people who have reflections on this, please, whenever you are sharing, share more on this. So I'm concerned about this line. The only duty is not to let oneself be troubled by anything. Now, in ordinary consciousness, we know that we get troubled. Yeah. So what is the catch? Because it appears like a catch-22 situation, here, that although mother is giving us a beautiful, giving herself a beautiful kind of a suggestion that the only duty is not to let oneself be troubled by anything. Now the thing is that in ordinary human consciousness, I do get troubled by things. So, what is it that can be elaborated here, so that this point becomes more clear? Whenever anyone is sharing, yes, Luba, please go ahead. Yeah.
It's very beautiful what Jishnu shared overall, how that prayer beautifully put us in the right guidance. But my eyes also fell on this line, which goes further. To torment oneself about doing the right thing causes as much harm as a bad will. So for me, what thought I have got about this, that people are who doesn't know spiritual truth and how things are working. They are so preoccupied with that self-righteousness and etc. things. And Mother said somewhere that this is causing also as much trouble as a bad will. So people who are tormenting themselves with all that. So it's in the spiritual, from the spiritual point of view, looks the same as a bad will, because that tormenting yourself with something is creating some vibration which is as equal as a bad will. And it's, I think it's very important for us to understand this occult truth which Mother is revealing to us, that we have to be at peace. And yes, it's important to do right action, but torment yourself, you should not do that, because it's as equal as a bad will. That's what for me was a very interesting guidance which I got from this prayer.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Luba. Yeah. Thank you for giving attention to this. Yes. Yeah. Anyone who wants to share next? Yeah, Shweta, please.
Yeah, so again about these lines, now the message, this message is coming to me second time today in the morning also. I got a similar message only from what I was listening to and all. So वो भी उसमें भी वही बोल रहे थे कि आप अगर कोई फैक्ट भी है, like, and the fact is something that makes you worried, or like कोई बहुत बीमार है, and वो तो fact है, like, तो भी, to torment yourself with that is not right. And like like just now Luna said that it is equivalent to bad will when you create such vibrations, more so at such times. I think what the message I got is like, more so at such times you should create a collective vibration which focuses on the reality that you want, and not on the reality which, even though if it's a fact, it the vibrations have the power to shift it to something positive if you uh, think that it is already a reality, so that is one thing, like about vibrations I would say. But here the only duty is not to let oneself be troubled by anything. I feel like more on like uh, personal journey and reflection. You also know that uh, even things that you felt were like not like yesterday, even Ram Prakash he was sharing about the same thing. you know uh, After all, in the hindsight, you know that everything has worked in your favor, and uh, at that time maybe you do not understand that, but life works for your growth and journey. So in that way, yes, I understand this. Uh, uh, but it's, yeah, like ordinary consciousness may it's not easy, though by and large you get it, but like you have to be really in this inner connected state of mind to know the larger truth, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, beautiful. Jishnuji, you have something to add on?
Yeah, one thing I wanted to read:
Yeah.
peace in the storm, calm in the effort, joy in the surrender, a luminous faith, and you will become aware of your aim in life. And that is something, as Luba said, as others reflected, that uh, naturally, I mean, in Mother Shobinda's path and in all the other paths, we always see that the first thing they say is not to get troubled. Naturally, if we dig deeper, we all know, right, that we get troubled because we are attached to things. Um Sicknesses happen to our loved ones, sicknesses, illnesses happen to many unknown people in the world, but we may sympathize, but we do not get troubled with it. But when it happens to somebody close to us, to ourselves, we feel troubled, right? And when we do that, at times we take wrong decisions, at times we take right decisions. But here, I think that is something which we know. But here, Mother is also going one step deeper. What I felt is not only people who are not aware of the truth, people who are aware of the truth. Once you are aware, at times they become forceful in imposing that truth on others. And if we go into the collected works of Mother Shavina, they will always say, don't impose your truth on others, because that person's path is not as your path. Often we will see there are good people, and they think that there is only one way of doing the right thing, which is
Right.
not so. There are so many ways of doing the right thing, and it's different for each person.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
And the problem, what happens is, people who know the truth at times, they feel more agitated because they feel the other person is doing 100% wrong, because they know about their truth. And so he feels that the people around them, they are doing 100% wrong. If we hear, I mean, when I was a child, when I used to hear the last words of Jesus, I used to think, why did he say it? So I mean, he said, if for just for reference, when others were crucified, he just said, Lord, pardon them, they don't know what they're doing. And now if I think, after reading Mother Shravinda's work, after having a little bit of experience, when I think how compassionate he was, and what he was thinking, that, okay, they are crucifying me, he is praying for them, that Lord pardon them, they don't know what they are doing. If we relate this prayer to that, what to his prayer he's saying, and we will understand.
Yeah,
He's
beautiful.
also aghast what they are doing. They don't know what they're doing.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I think yes, like even when we are with our family or our friends, and we feel that we understand this path better, or we are on this journey, I think to just be patient and not to judge others becomes very important, because I think my internet connection is unstable. Am I audible?
Yes, yes, audible, Shweta. Yeah.
Yes, yes,
Okay.
Shweta, you're audible.
Yeah, yeah, okay. So that's what I think. Even I feel, the only duty is not to let oneself be troubled by anything. To torment oneself about doing the right thing causes as much harm as bad will, because yeah, I think that voice also tells you that each one is on their own path, and you have to just be there, and it's like and it's like, like why we are walking each other home, it comes back to that. So you don't have to like uh, make it into a right or wrong thing.
Beautiful. Yes, absolutely. And most of the times things are working in such hidden manners, that the person we may think is opposing us or is standing against us, that is the person who is making us grow on the path most often than not. So things are working or designed in such a manner that we cannot fathom.
Yeah,
Absolutely
totally.
agree with this.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Sometimes I feel, that as you were telling that everything is hidden and everything is just designed, yet sometimes we feel or we take the credit that, I chose this, or, it was me who did this, or, it was my planning. But actually, everything is just planned. Everything happens the way it is supposed to happen. Uh, I don't know. Sometimes I feel that our thinking, I don't know, I might be wrong, but sometimes I feel even our thinking is driven, that this is supposed to happen. So, uh, I don't know, unless
Yeah, Raki, please continue. I think it was just, I think I pressed this wrong button. Please continue. Yeah.
yeah, I was saying that like you were saying that it's all hidden and decided, and you know we are just there to play the parts. But so sometimes we take the credit कि, ये मैंने plan किया, ये मेरी वजह से हुआ, or I chose this, but actually it's all chosen for us. We are just there to play the part.
Yeah, this is
That's what I
actually
feel.
very interesting. Yeah, there are many, many facets to this, what you are sharing. And I think maybe we discuss that some other day, but it's absolutely a mystery. It's not that clear, that the roles we are playing, is it all designed? Do I have any free will at all? Do I choose? So, yeah, really,
So
many, many
did we
threads.
choose? That is why we are here, or because we were supposed to be here, we chose this?
Yeah,
How is it?
interesting. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, please share, anyone who wants to go next.
I, for me, the take home in this prayer, the main thing was, we torment ourselves about doing the right things. In day-to-day life, very often when we are convinced that something is right, I mean, you sort of know that it is the right thing to do and it is the correct thing. And we chase it with the conviction that no, this is the truth and it should be done. Little realizing that if we just stayed calm, a deep calm without any ripples of any kind, probably we would achieve far more, and we will be able to imbibe far more and go deeper within. And yet whatever has to happen would happen. But that conviction of the truth which makes us chase, I don't know what it is, but there is a sense of torment to oneself when one doesn't chase it. And I learned from this prayer that if you just stay calm, totally calm, and let it pass through you and pass by you, knowing fully well that that was right, I guess probably that is what exactly we are expected to do, and we should be doing if we want to progress. And today it has struck me when this has been read that I think that's the way to do it. And then we can take any amount of examples, but if we stop tormenting ourselves, I think we'll gallop much faster.
Yeah, beautiful. Yes,
Mm,
absolutely.
I would like to add
Yeah,
also
yeah.
that mother is saying here, but rather the voice telling to mother, that divine speaks to mother. See how little, very little, all outer circumstances matter. And I understand it like this, that sometimes people are spending lots of energy to find their own path. like this way, this yoga or that yoga. And mother, that voice is saying, why strive and strain? So to realize thy own conception of truth, because we see lots of debates are happening, this way, that philosophy, this practice of yoga, that. So all that is striving to find your own conception of truth. And that voice is telling, be more supple, more trusting. And then the only duty is to let oneself be troubled by any, not be troubled by anything. And then is this torment, I think also it's like people are so much trying to find their way or some conception of truth, then it causes so much harm as a bad will. And then that voice is telling, only is in a calm as of a deep waters can be found the possibility of true service. So maybe, as I'm understanding here, as more, you have to be more supple and more trusting and just be peaceful. Don't torment yourself as this way, that way. I should serve like this, I should serve like that. And just be calm and receptive, like deep waters. They're calm and still and peaceful. And there you can find the possibility of true service. So that's also how you can see at this. And outer circumstances, like whether I do this way or that way, does not matter much. That's
Beautiful.
what.
That's beautiful. Yeah, thank you so much for bringing that up.
And then why to strive and strain so much for all this?
Beautiful.
But Monica, I don't know if others face this issue, but being in the real world and being like this is also taken as like uh, वो थोड़ा सा हो जाता है ना कि कि you don't like to confront, or you should voice it. So because I get it a lot from friends and family that political views and like feminism and like everywhere everybody is like thriving for so much, which is like outer circumstances, and I totally respect those opinions. But personally, like uh, this comes more naturally, like this uh, not to torment yourself and to be in in a calm as of deep waters. This is what you really relate to. And so do others face this problem? I don't know.
I think, Shweta, there is one point here also, that if you are tapped or anchored in the calm of the deep waters, it does not exclude that you would not be taking a stand for yourself. So I think we have to really understand also here that being calm and being centered in your stillness does not mean that you would be silent outwardly.
Yeah,
your
I
your
don't. Yeah.
your words can be coming from that stillness in which you are anchored.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But when there is no aggression about it, you can
Yeah.
obviously make yourself very clear and take a stand. That I understand. But to join the aggression, I am talking because now I have two young girls, and like I have a very politically viewed husband. So वो हमेशा रहता है काफी कुछ discussions like जिसमें like I understand my views, but I also think of working from like for the pro and not for the con. So that's the way I look at it, like so negative propaganda, like especially with growing up girls, it's very difficult because you need to help them keep their views and develop that healthy ego, and yet be somebody who like who they can understand, like कि after all like what matters is it's near to far again, so be that calmness within, or like be your friend first and then try to build a community where you can find it rather than going against everybody, so that is what I meant. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it would also depend on natures of everyone, because we have to actually go by our natures, and for each one the nature is different, right? For someone, he would be very, very okay expressing himself again and again in his views in debates, or maybe other things that happen, panel discussions or something. But for someone else, his nature might be of a different inclination, and for him, again and again, debating and going about kind of discussing points may not be true to his nature. So I think, again, as truth has no formula, here one would have to follow just the inner inclination wherever you feel at ease, and that which is right for you personally. Yeah, that's what I would say here.
That's all you can do.
Yeah. Yeah, Chitraji, you have been unmuted too,
Yeah,
please. Yeah.
actually, yeah. For me also, that outer circumstances are very little. Yeah, it doesn't matter at all. Yeah, that is the thing I resonate with. And other thing, be more supple and more trusting. Yes, this one no really helps a lot actually. Because whenever I used to watch Alok Das talk, no, he used to tell you used to always stress upon that point. Once you enter into the path, open to mother. After some years, you are going in the path more and more opening to mother. And after some years, you are going deep into that path, more and more opening to mother. He will tell always this like a mantra actually. So be more supple and more trusting. This really reminded me of that open to mother. Yeah. She will do the rest because again in the second pair also she is assuring no actually, oh sublime master, my supreme teacher, to give me the strength and clear-sightedness, I need to remain constantly in this state. Yeah, this is the prayer I feel. I always we have to make that prayer. And also she is assuring us, do not torment thyself, child. Silence, peace, peace. As you used to tell, no, always go to that pulu of mother and take rest and peace. Yeah, that those things, I mean, lingered in my thing when I read this line: do not torment thyself, silence, peace, peace. Really, we can take refuge in her. Yeah, this is my take. Yeah.
I think that's really beautiful that you bring this up, Chitraji, because many a times, so for the first paragraph, we can be really concerned, am I progressing on the spiritual path? What if I'm not progressing and all that? So instead of all that, if I can just stick to the mother, which is so simple, I think we have been pampered that mother is there and she has provided her here 24/7 with us. And we don't have to do anything. Mother says, just cling to me and I will do the yoga. So the yoga also we don't have to do. The union also we don't have to do.
Yeah.
And it's so simple, made so
Yeah.
simple. Yeah, please share, Chitraji. You want to share?
Yeah, that is what, because the last line reminded me of your thought only. No, you used to tell, no, always go to that polo of mother, always be with her. You every session, I mean, you used to tell that actually, whenever you want to go to for a sleep and everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is very beautiful.
Yeah.
The ending is very, very beautiful. Yeah, it is
Mm.
a continuation of the previous prayer only, no? Actually,
Looks like
yeah,
that. Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah. So I think this really relaxes. Yes, Luba, please go ahead.
Uh, one thing I also liked very much, I don't know whether anybody noticed or not, it's very much next para when she says, and this reply was so luminous and pure. It carried within itself such a striking reality. So for me, as I felt, it's very much corresponding to Savitri lines when we read Ashwapati has experience, and with that voice or something comes and he has the experience of that, or Savitri when she is doing her own yoga. And as you see, it is mother's diary. It is mother's diary how she is communicating with the Lord. And then when that answer comes, that reality comes. And she is um, that and that state, which is desired state, which that voice comes without any difficulties. So for us, when we try to get something, everything comes with difficulty in the physical world. We're trying to do something, we have to put effort, we have to go do a drive somewhere. But here, because that answers from those spheres are coming, it's like a striking reality. And Mother is saying here that that state was communicating without any difficulty. So for us, it is also the um, kind of picture how this inner communication happens with the divine. So the answer comes in reality, that experience comes also. So it's not just something like a voice said and okay, but it is something which comes as experience to us. That very important. I've noticed in Savitri also, as well as here, because it's Mother's personal diaries and her personal path. Spiritual path also, so how she is communicating with the divine, with Lord. So that is important. At least I felt like this. I don't know how other thinking about it.
Yeah, thanks, Luba. Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
that is a beautiful thing you shared actually. Yeah, in Savitri, she used to, yeah, she heard the voice actually when she was very much been tormented by Satyavan's death, and what to do. First, she left, I mean, she couldn't recoup her strength actually. That time she received that voice actually. As the voice touched, her body became a stark and rigid golden statue of motionless trance, a stone of God lit by an amethyst soul. Around her body's stillness, all grew still. Her heart listened to its slow, measured beats. Her mind, renouncing thought, heard and was mute. Why camest thou to this dumb, death-bound earth, this ignorant life beneath indifferent skies, tried like a sacrifice on the altar of time? O spirit, O immortal energy, if it was to nurse grief in a helpless heart, or with hot, tearless eyes await thy doom, arise, O soul, and vanquish time and death. Yeah, this is the voice she heard actually. Arise, was, yeah.
Beautiful. Yes.
So
Yeah.
in that world, when communication happens, the experiences come. So that when it's not like in our world, like okay, people talk and nothing happens. But
Yeah.
there, if you receive the answer, that strength comes, then aspiration comes, then the reality of that state comes. That Mother is saying. That's what she's saying.
So,
Yeah.
Luba, there is one question I have. So you're
Yes.
sharing in that world, so and in our world. So what is the difference? I'm not sure.
I will tell you. So, vital physical world, which we are mostly living, and that world means more subtle, more spiritual world. Like you go to inner realms, like let's say some inner vital or inner
Yeah,
mental,
yeah.
like
But
this.
are you sharing that that is not available to us, or?
It is available, but if we're speaking of ordinary consciousness, when you go to physical plane, we're trying to do something. So we face lots of difficulties because there is lots of resistance from other forces coming. I understand that.
Yeah, yeah. So I feel that here we keep on, like in the beginning at least, we keep on going like a pendulum from the
Mm,
outer consciousness to the
mm,
inner being. And
yes.
I think as we were sharing that, that is also important because we have to rise above that darkness of the outer being. And
Mm.
it's important to go through that darkness, and the outer world, the surface consciousness, so that it can be transformed with the light of the inner being.
Or rather, I would say subtle worlds and more
Yeah,
dense physical worlds.
dense
Like
physical
we,
worlds.
yeah. So like that worlds there, that subtle matter. So or some other, planes which is not. I mean, more subtle worlds. So there,
Yeah.
this kind of thing can be possible. That's what I mean. Other worlds.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Actually, I would like to just add on here that all these words that Luba was sharing, they are our reality. It's not that we are away from that. We yes, at an ordinary level of consciousness, we are mostly in surface consciousness, but as we tap into the inner worlds also, the subtle worlds that Luba was sharing, it is also my reality. So I cannot say that I am only in darkness and there is no light. We keep on uh, hanging like a pendulum from darkness to light, from light to darkness, from the surface, sometimes deep in the inner calm, sometimes totally thrown away on the surface. And that is our journey. This is the unification that we need in our life, that with the light of the inner being, with the light of the psychic, everything becomes whole and one. So the neither members of the family, the mind, the vital, and the physical being also listen to that light or the murmur that we are talking of. And that is what we then talk about integral yoga, or the path of union with the divine. So that even the lowermost members are not left untreated or untransformed. They also join us on the path. So just wanted to share, because I feel that both of them are my realities, right? Yeah, Shweta, please.
Yeah, so Monica, so when that happens, so whenever that happens, that the other members of your being, work and take commands from your psychic being. Now, is that a permanent state, or once you achieve that, then once you arrive at that, then does it remain, or, or is it reversible?
So it's not reversible for sure, Shweta. Although there have been incidences, I think there are a few accounts where Sri Aurobindo has, at once, I remember, if I'm not wrong, he shares that the touch from the psychic can be lost, but usually it is irreversible. Once you have the psychic shining in the front as king, then slowly the mind and the vital and the physical, all the thoughts, emotions, listen to the voice of the psychic, and they are not their kings in their own command. They listen to the king, which is the psychic.
Okay, and then onward journey.
Onward
Yeah.
journey. Yeah. Although challenges would still remain, because anything can happen in the physical domain, but more and more one hears the voice of the psychic, follows the command of the psychic, and one feels uneasy when not following the voice of the psychic. This is one hint that mother gives, that you will feel very uneasy when you have missed the command of the psychic. Yeah. So
Yeah, beautiful,
uneasiness is
Monica.
the signal.
Yeah,
Yeah, please.
correct,
Yeah,
correct.
yeah.
Yeah, very nice. Yeah. And
I
yeah,
yeah, you speak.
yeah, continue, continue. No problem. Yeah.
No, I basically feel that we vacillate. We vacillate between these states where, we are listening to the psychic. We know it is there. It is once it is there, all the other forces do listen to it. But then we vacillate. Sometimes we don't listen to it, or we think that the voice is too faint to be listened to, and then we sort of follow the vital. There are instances during our day-to-day lives. So because we vacillate, we find these conflicts far more. That's how I translate it. Monica, you can clarify.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's yeah.
Jyotsna ji, like I have that question only. Once the psychic becomes the king, even then will this happen? That's what I want to know.
So, mother once shared, I remembered just when Josna ji was sharing, there was some person who asked the mother, whether my psychic is in the front, how would I know? And I think mother shared that you would not be asking this question.
Asking. I just read this yesterday night.
So this gives us some clarity here. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it is also ancient saying also is there actually. If you have that vision, you won't ask questions. Till you have vision, you will ask questions. Yeah. Yeah.
No, because we feel no, that okay, we get those
No,
glimpses,
actually, we will.
the
No, actually, in the initial stages, we will receive the touch of the psychic. It will be there always. It will be there. The become the king. It will occupy your whole thing. I feel like that. And the touch of the psychic will come. No, actually, everyone, we all will feel that
No,
actually.
it will
yeah,
come.
But
yeah,
It will
yeah,
begin
but
to.
to develop that is a path. Yeah,
yeah.
definitely. Yeah.
Yes. once we have that, then we won't be asking questions.
Exactly.
I think.
Yeah. So, Mother, I think that actually that clears this question very beautifully. That if I truly know that I am walking the path of the inner presence
Yeah.
or the psychic, then I would not have any doubt that I am walking this path or not walking this path. Yeah. So that doubt would disappear. Yeah.
And it is also there, told by Sherbindo, sometimes sadhana is required for a long time to bring that psychic out, actually.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely. It's actually being called a process of a lifetime also.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that itself gives us that joy, no? Actually,
Absolutely. Just walking towards the path, it absolutely it's
yeah.
so beautiful that
Yeah.
one would not care whether, my psychic is in front or not
Yeah,
front.
that mother gave, actually. Mother, yeah, that is the boon mother granted. Yeah.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is the thing.
Yeah,
Yes.
this Monday we were discussing Tagore's words, and in one of the poems he shared that let me be your footstool, let
Yeah.
me be below your footstool. So there he was so content just being with the feet of the Lord that he did not demand for any further spiritual experiences or anything on the path. So that was something which came out so strongly that as Chitraji was sharing, that just being on this path, whether the psychic is in front fully or not fully or maybe half, that does not become a question because I am so enjoying this path, that
Yeah.
itself is so much of beauty and grace. Yeah. Okay, so any more reflections? Anyone on this prayer?
I will just read some more Savitri lines, actually,
Okay.
from page number 369 about this inner voice.
Yeah.
When Ashwapati was, asked, the Savitri became a young maiden, she has to get married. So Ashwapati is in a thought process, actually. That time he received the voice. I will read those lines. The call to the quest. The canto is canto 3 in book 4, Call to the Quest, page number 369. That is, King Ashwapati listened through the ray to other sounds than meet the sense-formed ear on a subtle interspace which rings our life. Unlocked were the inner spirit's trance closed doors. This is the exact line. Unlocked were the inner spirit's trance closed doors. The inaudible strain in nature could be caught across this cyclic tramp of eager lives. Across the deep urgency of present cares, Earth's wordless hymn to the ineffable arose from the silent heart of the cosmic void. This is the exact line how we hear the inner voice, from where it is coming. And also this canto, if you can read, actually, we all discuss about this tormenting, about the world affairs and all. From page number 370, Shirbindo show a clear picture of this world, really, with these lines. Oh, force-compelled, fate-driven, earthborn race. These are all the voices he heard, Ashwapati. Oh, petty adventurers in an infinite world and prisoners of a dwarf humanity. How long will you tread the circling tracks of mind around your little self and petty things? Yeah, these are all the lines you all can go through. Yeah, thank you. Very beautiful lines, actually.
Thank you so much for sharing. I think we can
Yeah.
go through that when we are
Yeah,
by
it's very
ourselves.
beautiful. Yeah, thank you.
Great. Yeah, so any further reflections, anyone? We are almost at the end time, towards the end time. Anything more? Okay, great. Great. So thank you everyone for joining. Thank you for sharing
Thank you. Yeah,
reflections, everyone. Bye.
thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Beautiful.
Monica.
Thank
Thank
you.
Thank
you.
you.
Yeah, thank you.
Bye. Bye.
Thank you
Bye.
so much, everyone.